wider community is never going to be best able to select, address, and prioritise the issues important to us all. Since I retired from federal politics at the 2019 election, my belief has only strengthened that we need more women fighting in our parliament to ensure that issues affecting all women in Australia are at centre stage. We continue to see women and children killed with devastating regularity across Australian cities and towns. We see women disproportionately shouldering the burden of the impacts of COVID-19 and facing a lifetime of disadvantage as a result. After an all too brief experiment with free and accessible childcare, we have now returned to the outdated and fragmented childcare funding model, despite overwhelming evidence of the constraints this places on women's economic participation. Women make up over half of our population, and we need their voices to be heard on issues across the board, from economic decision-making to policies on climate change and immigration. And it's not just about hearing their voices, but also ensuring that their attitudes, their management, and leadership styles and their interests are fairly represented. At a time when we have a critical need for strong women fighting for reform on the issues that matter, we have thousands of young Australian women turning away and not even considering entering politics. When I was an MP, my press secretary would sheepishly approach me with a request to speak about my experience as a woman in politics, already knowing full well what my answer would be. It was always no. Many of my female colleagues say the same thing. I always felt very strongly that my job was to speak about the community that I was elected to represent, not myself. We fight elections on issues and policy solutions and values, not so that we can be commentators on our own profession. It just seemed self-indulgent. An even bigger reason I turned those offers down was that I am aware of my privilege. Mine is not a sob story. The issues faced by women in Australian politics are first world problems. We are women who are highly paid, who have access to power, and who have a voice and a platform from which we can wield that power. If we want to focus on women's issues, there are many other matters that are a far greater priority. Our job is surely to fight for those living in crippling poverty or sliding into homelessness, those facing sexual assault, domestic violence, and being killed each week at the hands of men, those who are unsafe and helpless without any avenue to a fair and just existence. Of course, we want our elected MPs focusing on these issues and not on themselves. So, in Breaking the Habit of a Lifetime, in the pages that follow, I write about the real-life experience of being a woman in Australian politics. This is not an academic thesis. It is an insider's account of what I experienced in the years I had the privilege of serving in the Parliament, and a reflection on the fact that, while I am grateful for every second that I served, there are some things that happen to women that just should not occur. There are some things that we face disproportionately compared to the men we work alongside. And there are some things that we need a broader public discussion about. It is also a collection of first-hand insights from women who have served in our Parliament. Over the past year, I interviewed a number of women from different political backgrounds about key issues women face in Parliament. Some interviews were much longer and more personal than I had expected. Some were short and over the phone. Despite having worked alongside many of these women for years, I wanted to understand more of their lived experience, the good, the complicated, and the hard parts of their daily realities. I am tremendously grateful to all the women who spoke so openly and honestly with me about their experiences and insights. I am also very aware of the number of amazing women who have made remarkable contributions who I did not speak to in this process. Those achievements are not unnoted. Politics is a tough game for both men and women, but the obstacles